the other biggest news that happened over the week was college football committee. I guess they're going to vote and discuss having a 12-team playoffs. Now, a lot of this is due to the fact with the pandemic, a lot of teams and a lot of conferences couldn't even play. Of course, stoppage with all sports. When that happened, teams or schools had to take out loans. They're trying to recoup their money back. So if you think that this is for the fairness of the game, you're wrong. Another thing, do not think the reason why I'm excited for this because I've been saying that just 4 teams isn't really. It's cool. Like I like seeing. It's fun, but you want to see. I want to see more competition, man. I want to see 17. I want to see a 12-team playoff. I want to see a brackets. That's what you're used to. You love March Madness because it's multiple teams, and of course you can build your brackets and everything. It's kind of hard to build brackets with 4 teams. Like that's just, while it's cool, it's yeah. But I'm excited. Now I will say this: in order to do this, a couple things are going to have to happen. First and foremost, there will be teams that are going to play They're going to play 17 games. They're going to play pretty much an NFL schedule now, seeing as though the NFL just added another game. So there's no way in heaven or hell that you can have a college athlete play 17 games and still not pay them. Like this is going to increase revenue beyond belief. Seeing as though there's a lot more teams teams get bonuses for being in the college football playoffs. And now that you expand it to 12, there's going to be more eyes, more fan bases. So the teams are going to start playing. Then you're forcing kids to play in more games. So if you don't pay them at some point, it's like, oh, okay. And also, don't think that this is going, and I'm excited for this. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited for more football. I'm excited to see if a 12 committee. I think they said that if they vote on this, it can come to us as quick as 2023. I will say this though: do not expect this to balance out the talent and the power. Don't think that this gives the Dukes and the Cincinnatis and Boston colleges. Don't think that this gives them a fair shake because of some of the rule or some of the, I guess, guidelines that came out with, saying that this is not going to limit there's not a limit on the amount of teams a conference can have in these playoffs. Meaning that it can be solely, it could be, now of course it won't be, but 8 of the 12 teams can be SEC teams. 8 of the 12 teams can be Pac-12 teams or Pac-10 or Big Ten or ACC. So don't think that, the Boston colleges or the, North Dakota states, don't think that this makes it even more fair for them. I will say that it brings on more opportunity, but you see it all the time. If Cincinnati has the same record as Auburn, they're going to pick Auburn 10 times out of 10. If Boston College has the same record as Tennessee, they're going to pick Tennessee 10 times out of 10. If Maryland football has the same record as Texas football, they're going to pick Texas football 10 times out of 10. So don't think that this just evens out, because it doesn't. Now, like I said, it does bring on more teams, but again, this isn't going to knock off the big powers. This isn't going to knock off the Clemsons. It's not going to knock off Alabamas or the Notre Dames. They're still going to be cemented. They're still going to get 3 or 4 of those 12 spots with the Oklahomas, but it just brings more. Now, I hope that, of course, we have to see what happens as far as moving forward. We have to see how it's executed, but I'm excited to see it, man. Now, I don't want to see a college football playoffs where 10 of the 12 or 8 of the 12 is an SEC team. I don't want to see that. If that's the case, then nah. And I don't think that that's going to happen either, because the college, the reason why main reason why they're doing this is because of money. And they understand that if one region or one section of the United States is the only section that's getting in the college football playoffs, you're cutting off a whole bunch of different sections, a whole bunch of different regions. So don't be surprised if you see, depending on their record, if you see an Oregon get in. Don't be surprised if you see a USC get in. Don't be surprised if you see, Notre Dame's or Texas's. Like, you don't want straight Alabama, Mississippi State, Auburn, Georgia. You don't want, that's just one region. And if this is to make as much money as possible, they're going to add some Pac-12 teams. They're going to add some Big 12. Like, they're going to add some type of teams, some of those teams. So I'm excited to see what we get, how we get it. I'm excited to see what comes of this, because like I said, this is something that they've been talking about. And honestly, if it really wasn't for the pandemic, I don't think this would have happened, because if it wasn't for the pandemic, the college football playoffs still get what they want. They still get the four in the old format. They still get the four best teams. You still get Alabama. You still get Clemson. You're probably gonna get Ohio State, maybe Oklahoma, and then you might get an independent like a Notre Dame, or you might get a Pac-12 like a Oregon or a Washington or a Stanford. So they're still making their money, but because the pandemic, because college football and college sports in general lost so much money, the pandemic kind of kicked it kind of jumped, it kind of steamrolled this. So I'm excited to see what comes from it. I'm excited to see it.